this computer. Okay, so we should be recording now. I can minimize this. We don't need to see my face. Let's go up here. All right, so this is the Excel piece that was due today that we did in class for those that were not there. This will help you with major assignment 3. So first, I realize that many of you have no idea about some aspects of your device. So down here, this works for basically all window or all Word or Office type stuff. There's usually something you can do down there that makes them bigger and easier to read. This one will put our name, some information. This is telling us what we're doing. It's telling us the maximum score that's possible in these classes is 100, so you can't get more than that. It also tells you what we're doing. We're going to find a mean, median, standard deviation, interquartile range, exclusive, and range. We'll come back to those pieces in a minute. We'll start with our name. So I'm going to put my name. Hit enter. You will put your own, obviously. Oops, don't open that. Okay. There it is. All right, so now we go here. We're going to put our mean in. Mean is equals average. And we see that there. And we talked about sample arithmetic mean being represented and being a representative of average, just like median. But only the mean, the sample arithmetic mean, is called average in Excel. So we select all of our data. And then we close our parenthesis and hit enter. And it gives us some amount. So pull that back. So this is where we can see what we did. So it's right up there. I could double click it. If I double click, then we get the highlight and it's there. If you double click, you are actually in the formula. So if I click on a cell, it changes my formula. So I'm going to click over there and I'm going to go ahead and hit enter again. I like to look at it up here to make sure I'm right. Here's another little secret, maybe. I don't think it's a secret, but some of you don't realize some of the powers you have with your computer. I can select these, highlight them, if you will, and I can use Control C to copy. Now, if you have a Mac, it's Command C. Now, why would I want to copy that? Well, I don't know. It might be useful. Let's see. Here, it asks for the median. That would be the middle of all of this data if it's put in order. So I don't want to have to put 50 things in order. So I'm going to type equal and put MED. And look, there is one called median. I'm going to click it. And then I copied that. You know what? Let me just Control V or Command V, and that pastes it in there. I then get to close it. You could select it all again. There's nothing wrong with that, but that just saved me a step. And then I'm going to hit enter. It gives some value. These say to format as a number with 2 decimals. So I'm going to go ahead and select everything. I'm going to go up here and convert it to numbers. There we go. Some of you, when you did mean and then did median, you ended up with the exact same value to one decimal place. It can happen. Certainly your data is randomized. But if you're unsure, just put it to the right format right now. It'll save you steps later. Now I'm going to go to standard deviation. Uh, I want a standard deviation, so I'm going to do equal. And again, Excel is going to think. So I put ST, and I can see that there's certainly not standardized. That's not the same thing. It says it returns a normalized value from a distribution characterized by a mean and standard deviation. So that's not quite what I want. But then if I look on this, this is standard deviation of a population. I don't have a population. I don't know that this is every student. So I have a sample, so I will use stdev.s. I'm just going to click on it. And because again, I copied that array, I'm going to go ahead and hit Control V or Command V to paste it in there if you have a Mac. Close my parenthesis and hit Enter. So copying that does save me some steps. If you didn't format, this one is going to be a long decimal. Once you format it, it should look something similar, though it may only be, a single whole number. Interquartile range, we've talked about that. That is the difference between the third quartile and the first quartile. So to do this, I'm going to go ahead and look at quartile of 3, and I'm going to subtract quartile of 1. So I'm going to do equals and QU, and then you'll see quartile. And specifically, this is exclusive, which it did say right here. So I'm going to use the quartile exclusive. My array is the same, so I can Control V or Command V. And you'll notice here it says put the array, and then it says a comma. So I'm going to put a comma. And then it says to put the quartile. Now, this is first quartile, second quartile, third quartile. I can click here, or I can just put a 3. I'm going to go ahead and put a 3, not there, put a 3. There it goes. Close my parenthesis. But that's not all I want. Remember, it's the difference from third quartile and first quartile. Difference means subtraction. And now I'm going to type quartile again. And same type, I still want the exclusive. And same array, so Control V, and then comma. And this time I'm going to put 1. Again, I could click it or I could put 1. Maybe I'll click it this time because last time I just put the 3. Double click. There it is. Close my parenthesis, same as before. And this should give me some value. This will be a positive value because it sorted them by quartile, and then it took the third quartile value and the first quartile value. So this will definitely be positive. If you got a negative, you put them in the wrong order. That is almost always the case. You did first quartile minus third quartile instead of third quartile minus first quartile. All right, so next we have range. Range we know is the maximum value minus the minimum value, or the highest value minus the lowest value. So to do that, I'm going to use equal max. There it is. Again, Control V, because I copied it. Again, I could select it all again. I'm just not going to do that. You'll find doing mathematics means you learn how to be lazy. It really does. It means you learn the techniques and the processes so you understand it, so then you can do stuff faster and with less work. Maximum minus the minimum, so I'm going to put min, and there is one right here. And I'm going to select the data or Control V because I've already done that. Close my parenthesis. And if you're unsure, you could just type B14 colon B63. That's fine. Just don't do B14 semicolon. Semicolon bad, colon. We're going to hit enter, and I have some values. All right, so looking at this data, I would say, oh, wow, this has a higher average or measure of center. Notice that what you're going to talk about is you're going to talk about higher score on average. That would be a measure of center. Appears to have the most variation, so the spread, and you're going to base these results and talk about it in here using these values to talk about. So I might say I have a mean, my math students had a mean of 77.37, which is greater than the mean of 62.35. And the median was also greater at 77.05 versus 68.72. But then you'll notice when we talk about variation, they're pretty spread out. Like the non-math have a higher range and a higher interquartile range, but they have a lower standard deviation. Whereas this one has a higher standard deviation, but a much smaller interquartile range and a smaller range. And I would put that in here. I would do that right up. One, because it gives you practice, because you're going to talk about, I think in the major assignment, it's tutoring and not tutored. So you could talk about which one's better based on your data. And you're going to talk about whether or not, in this case, the math program is effective. Higher mean here, higher average measure of center. A lower spread though here and here, even though this is a higher spread. So maybe this one I might say would be better. Let's see. So 11, remember the 68, 95, 99.7 rule says that one standard deviation, 68% of our scores are. Well, if I take this from my mean, that's 66. If I add this, that's 88. So that means 68% of my students scored between 66 and 88. That's pretty good. Here, I have 68% that are scoring 58-ish to 68-ish. So 58 to 68. That's a smaller spread and that's a lower score, right? 68 is lower than this. Even though this does get lower at 66, it's still most of the students scored better. So I might say this is more effective. You'll say what you want. Yours is randomized based on the data, so it may not quite match this. And that's it for this page. It's genuinely what you're doing. There is another page. So on this page, again, I want to make this bigger. That's harder to read. That went plenty big. Okay. So same idea. This does tell me I'm going to find the bin min, bin max, bin width, and it tells me specifically I'm going to use the round function on the bin width. Okay, that's good to know. Then it's going to tells me I'm going to find a lower limit and upper limit for each class or each group or each bin, however you want to word that. And I'm going to calculate the midpoint for here. And these are all going to be numbers with two decimal places. Then I'll do relative frequency, which will just be a decimal with, or a percentage with zero decimal places. So first, let's do this. I'm going to find the minimum. I'm not going to look for it. That's a 50 data points. I am not spending my time doing that. I'm going to do equal. I'm going to do min. And interestingly enough, I can't paste my values in here like I did before. Because one, they moved. It's not the same values. You'll notice this starts at B12 instead of B14. So I'm just going to select them all. And this one, I don't have to do it a lot, so it's not a big deal to just select. Here we go. I'm going to close my parenthesis. I'm going to hit enter, and it gives me the lowest value in all of these. If you don't believe me, double check. But it is. And then knowing that that's the numbers B12 to B61, I'm going to look here. I'm not going to copy it because it's just, I only have to do it 3 times. I'm going to do, or 2 times. Now I want to find my max. Well, that's just going to equal my max. I'm going to open my parenthesis. Again, I can just type all this in. B12 colon B61. Excel does not need it to be capitalized. Excel doesn't care. It's going to capitalize it anyway. So you don't need to worry about that. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter. And then when I look back at this, this is capitalized, right? And my maximum score is somebody got 100%. And I did know that that was the highest it could go. Looks like only one person got 100%. Okay. And then we're going to find the bin width. So to find the bin width, I need to know how many bins there are. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 bins. Great. So I need to know the difference between my max and my min, and I need to know that I'm going to divide it into 9 pieces. So I'm going to use equal. I'm going to open a parenthesis, click my max. Now, if for whatever reason yours has popped up bigger and you can't see where your max is, you can always look up here. This is column F and row 27 where we're at. So I could go to column F, row 26. So I could do F26 minus F25. You have to put these in the right order or you get a negative value. It's max minus min. I then close my parenthesis and I divide by 9 because there were 9 bins. And this will give me my bin width. You need to know how many bins you have to know how many to divide it by. And that is supposed to be, oh, I didn't round. I forgot to use the round. I did talk about it, but I forgot to. So I'm going to just start again with equal. This time I'm going to type round. I'm going to open my parenthesis. So I'm already starting the function. I'm going to open a second parenthesis. And then I'm going to do exactly what I just did. I'm going to do F26 minus F25, close my parenthesis, divide by 9, and then I'm going to do a comma, and I need to do it to the number of digits. I want 2 decimal places because that's what it said. And then I close my parenthesis. And again, it will capitalize all of this if it wants it all capitalized. Much better. So here it's rounded. The reason this particular tool is better than just changing the format, right? Because I can set all these, I could go, well, let me just set them all to numbers, right? That would be 2 decimal places. The problem is that even though I set this to numbers, if I didn't round this, it would still keep that long decimal. In fact, it would keep that decimal plus another 45 decimal places. Way too much, but that could affect my midpoints, my upper limits, lower limits. It could look weird. So we used round, that fixes it. That is it at that point. Now we need to set our lower limit. Well, our first lower limit, the lowest limit on here is the same as my min, my bin min. So I'm going to hit equal and I'm just going to click that cell. Done. That's my lower limit. Whatever my minimum was is my lower limit. My upper limit, that's a little different. So my upper limit, I'm going to start with equal and I'm going to set it to my lower limit plus my bin width. Now, the only problem with that is This is a great formula, but if I copy it down, the E31, my lower limit is going to change, which is good, it should, but my bin width is going to change, and that shouldn't change. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to put a dollar sign in front of the F and a dollar sign in front of the 27. You need to put it in front of both, okay? And then I hit enter. So it's now up there. And now the great thing is this formula is copyable. I can double click or drag it. I'm gonna double click. And I know it came out aired, or not aired, but with some weird numbers. That's fine, doesn't matter to me. This came out fine. So I need to look at what my lower limit is. This lower limit started at my minimum. I don't want to copy that one down because it's going to change each step. So what I do want is the new lower limit is going to be equal to the upper limit. So I'm going to use the equal, and I'm just going to click on this upper limit, hit enter. That's a good one. And you'll notice it automatically corrected this. Now I can click here. I can drag, let's drag this one, drag it down. And you'll notice that I got 100 and 0.04, which is higher than my maximum. So these are probably right for me. They may not be for you. And let's find out if they're right for me. I think they are, but they may not be. I'm going to do equals sum. This cell is one that is still left openable by you or usable by you guys, even in the major assignment, though this is not a cell you can use for anything other than double checking your work. So I'm going to click on sum, and then I'm going to select all my data. Now, some of you, because of your device, are not showing, when you look at this, it pops up a little bit higher, and you guys are only copying down to 38. You want to copy down all the way to 39. I'm going to close my parenthesis and hit enter. I have 50. Some of you have not had 50 because maybe this came out to 99.98 or something like that, which is not the maximum. It's okay. If it does happen, you can click this cell right here, and you can change it instead of using that formula to equal. And then what should your maximum upper limit be? Well, it should be your max. And then you hit enter, and that fixes it. And then this would change to 50. So, and that's usually when you have like 48, 49, something like that. So as a checkpoint, if you will. And this is fine to be this. That makes sense because technically you can't get above 100. So that's totally fine. Now let's talk about our midpoint. We've already done this. We did this in class. This is one of the early examples I did was to find a midpoint. So let's do this. If I want to find the midpoint between two values, my lower limit and upper limit, I'm going to do equal. I'm going to open a parenthesis. I'm going to click my lower limit. I'm going to add my upper limit. I'm going to close my parenthesis, and I'm going to divide by 2. There's two values. I'm going to cut them in half, divide by 2. That gives me my upper limit. And I can now drag it down, drag it down. And then this is not actually in the right format because it's supposed to be to 2 decimal places. So let me correct that. And I'm going to select all of them. And I'm going to go up here and change them to numbers. And then they're in the right decimal place. Okay. Hey, sorry about that. What's up? I'm at Bethany's. Yeah. I wanted to make sure Buttercup got out the extra time, and I needed to make a recording of some Excel work, which I'm almost done. What's up? Yeah, everything's fine. As soon as I finish this, I'm gonna, you know, upload it to like YouTube or whatever, and then share the link with my students. I have like 3 students that needed it. Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I remember you saying that. Is mom home? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I know. I needed to get them fed, and then I needed to get this done, and I had some issues getting it set up on her device. Love you too. I'll give you a call, give you guys a call when I'm on my way. All right. Love you too. Bye. Um, okay. Where's my mouse? There it is. All right. All right, so we have everything there. We have a couple of things to do. We still need to get a relative frequency, and we know that's a percentage with 0 decimal places. And then we need to do the estimated mean score with tutoring. Hmm. So first, let's start with the relative frequency. This formula is pretty straightforward. It is equal to your frequency divided by, well, how many total do we have? Well, if we go down here, we can see that we had 50 numbers, so I'm going to click that cell. This would be a great formula, except I can't copy it down, so I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click on it and move it over. I'm going to put the dollar sign in front of the A, dollar sign after the A. I don't want that cell to move. I want my frequency to move as I move it down, but I don't want that 50 to move. I want it to stay there. So this is a better formula. So I'm going to hit enter. It's not in the right form. I'm going to go ahead and copy it down first. I'll change it after it's all down. I just copy it down. Gives me this, all these values. Now I'm going to select them, and I'll go up here and change it to percentage. Percentage always gives you 2 decimal places, so I'm going to use the arrow button or the plus or minus and minus, decrease the decimal 2 places, and there we have it. Another interesting thing to check this should add up to 100%, just like you could manually add this to 50. But because I built this formula and it works for these 2 columns, and same thing in the major assignment, you have this to do. You have another one of these over here, and you have to do this again for one is for tutored students, one is for non-tutored students. But because we built these, I can just drag this formula instead of dragging it down. Most of you guys have dragged down. I'm going to drag it to the right. And it comes out to be 1 because 100% is 1. I could convert this to a decimal also, not the whole thing, just that cell, just so you can see it. Let's go to percentage, take out those. It is 100%. That means we have got everybody that's in this set of data. We've done the estimated mean score. Oh, wow, this still says with tutoring. Oops, that should say math students. It's fine. For this, in the major assignment, it would say for tutoring. Um, so what do we do? Well, we do the midpoint times the frequency plus this midpoint times this frequency plus this midpoint times, and we do all of that in parentheses, and then we divide by the 50 again. Or because that's a lot of work and we're math people now, so we're learning laziness. No, we're learning understanding, and that helps us save time. So we're going to do equal sum. And when I do this, you'll notice that there's lots of different types of sums. One of them is a sum product. This means sum multiplication. So multiplication and sum, multiplication and add. So we're going to click on that. And then it says do array one. So I'm going to do midpoint. I can do frequency first. It really doesn't matter. Don't get the title and make sure you get all of it. And then do comma and then do the same in frequency. Don't get the 50. The number of cells in this array and the number of cells in this array have to match. If they don't match, it will not work and you'll get like a value error or something. So I'm going to close my parenthesis, but I'm not done because that's just adding, it's multiplying each piece and adding them, which is good. I want to divide. So I'm going to use divide. And then this is another one where I want to divide by the total number. So I'll click that cell. I'm not going to put absolute value on this because we're not moving it. I'm not going to lock it. I'm just going to hit enter. And then this should be formatted number two decimal places. So I'm going to fix that. Number two decimal places. Interestingly enough, 77.34, if I go back to this page, 77.37, very close. Do they have to be that close? No, but they should be within like 3 to 5 points of each other, 3 to 5 whole points of each other. Mine is pretty spot on. I think when I used Mr. Phillips, it was a little different. But yeah, so there you go. This is everything you need for this Excel practice, and it should help you with the major assignment. So please take a look at that. I've been telling students if you get the major assignment done this weekend, then if you still have questions on something, you can go into the Math Center at 1 p.m. on Monday. That is when they are having the workshop, and they will go through a similar version of this. So please consider using that. There's my mouse. Okay. That's all I got. You guys have a wonderful Easter and um, enjoy your time. And close it.